Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk. Back in another video today. We're going to be talking about one of the most recent free agency signings in the NFL, as the New York Jets have made another NFL signing today. They made two today. They made one was a Green Bay Packer quarterback, and it was not Aaron Rodgers. It was Tim Boyle, who eventually, I think his most recent team was the Lions, but he was on the Packers. And then the signing that we are talking about right now is a defensive tackle from the Seattle Seahawks, Quinton Jefferson. Really decent defensive tackle who, he's a veteran. I wouldn't, he's getting into the veteran, type of years for him. He's going into his 8th season. Spent 5 years with Seattle, and that is 5 years that are separated. Spent 16 through 2016, was drafted, spent 2016 through 2019 with Seattle. Then he would go on to play with Buffalo in the 2020 season, would go on to play with the Raiders in a really huge year for him in the 2021 season. And then he would go back to Seattle in 2022, where he played 4 seasons with them. And he would return with them. Did not start that much for Seattle, but did have a decent season, really decent season for someone who wasn't starting every game. So let's get into his stats. I want to say I like this with the Jets. Looking at their defense is improved. Their defense is good all over the place. But the defensive tackle is one weak spot for me. They have a really, really nice player in Quinton Williams. At the defensive tackle position, he's a beast. He's an amazing player, great pass rusher, great run stopper. But besides that defensive tackle, really don't think they have a real second defensive tackle to start in the Jets starting defense. This is why they make this move. They've made a lot of big moves, whether we're talking about McCole Hardman or what's his name from Green Bay? It's the wide receiver's name. Alan Lazard. They've made a couple other moves. They traded for Chuck Clark, the safety. They did a bunch of other stuff for free agent acquisitions. Whether it's getting, they haven't done it yet. They haven't officially got him, but the Jets have their mind stuck that they're going to land Aaron Rodgers. So whether it's getting Aaron Rodgers, they've done a bunch of good stuff in free agency. But as a team, that I look at the Jets right now, I look at their roster, they have everything is set up for them. They're, the only thing they need to do is get Aaron Rodgers in with that offense, 2 running backs, and Breece Hall, who had a 2000. I got to go with this prediction. If Breece Hall doesn't tear his ACL, I say the Jets probably make the playoffs. That's how good he was for them last season. He's a beast on the run. And honestly, he was making Zach Wilson look like a better quarterback. Because Zach Wilson didn't have to do much when he was out there. Just give him the ball to Breece, throw the ball a little bit to get him down the field. They got some decent wins when Zach had Breece as the running back. They really did. So I honestly think the Jets could have made the playoffs if Breece Hall didn't get hurt. So he's a big acquisition. They have Michael Carter, who's a really decent backup. Wide receiver position, that is just stacked. Garrett Wilson, with an actual quarterback this season, he was the rookie of the year last year and didn't even have a good quarterback. He had Zach Wilson and Mike White throwing the ball to him. That's not it at the wide receiver position there. Corey Davis, who's going to get less playing time now that they've signed Alan Lazard and McCole Hardman. So you got those 2 moves right there at the wide receiver position. And then it's a rumor that they possibly going to add in Odell Beckham Jr., which I think if they add in Odell Beckham Jr., I personally think Corey Davis will be cut or traded for like a high draft pick. So I would expect if OBJ gets signed to the New York Jets that Corey Davis is gone in the next day or two. Because if I want to look at something with the Jets did, if you saw how quick they traded Elijah Moore after they after they signed McCole Hardman. It was like, all right, we got our new guy, McCole Hardman. Let's get Elijah Howe, get a decent pick. Got a second-round pick for him. So, traded him pretty quick after picking up McCole Hardman. I think if OBJ is a New York Jet, I think Corey Davis is likely out, especially with his big contract. So, yeah, let's talk about Quinton Jefferson stats though. But you want to get more to, like, they're stacked all over the place. With the offense, they're stacked. With the defense, they're stacked with Sauce Gardner. All the young pieces they have, they are set up. They've even added. They've added in Chuck Clark. They've added in other people. Just added in Quinton Jefferson. But what I'm trying to say is that at the defensive tackle position, they have Williams, but they don't have anybody else. So I think this was a must-add for them. And let's go over his stats from 2022. 17 games, 3 starts. Had 2 passes deflected. Had 5.5 sacks. 29 tackles and 6 tackles for loss and 13 QB hits. The season before, where he did really good with the Raiders, 17 game starts, 1 pass deflected, 2 forced fumbles, 4.5 sacks, 47 tackles, and 5 tackles for loss, and 16 QB hits. So, really decent, player right there. I think he will be a decent addition to the Jets defense, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does. Use some of your thoughts on the signing. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.